Unlock 7 miraculous chakras. Confirmed divine cleansing to manifest supernatural blessings and light. In the heart of a picturesque English village, where emerald hills whispered secrets and sunbeams danced upon the thatched rooftops, Clara sat in the dimly lit pew of her local parish. The walls, ancient yet welcoming, held the prayers of generations. Today, they bore witness to her heavy heart. Her dear son, Jamie, lay critically ill, and her faith felt like a flickering candle in a tempest. "Lord, I need you," she uttered, each word a plea entwined with desperation. As the service progressed, a stirring force filled the air. Warmth enveloped her spirit as Pastor Thomas approached. His voice was like honey, dipped in hope. "Clara, God has given me a word for you. You are to embark on a sacred journey to confront 7 miraculous barriers. Each one holds the key to healing and hope." The words hung in the air like an echo of divine promise, and Clara's soul ignited with a flicker of faith. The first barrier loomed before her like a mountain shrouded in clouds. Doubts swirled around the village like autumn leaves caught in a whirlwind. "What does she think she's doing?" whispered Mrs. Jenkins, her brow furrowed with skepticism. "It's all nonsense," chimed in Mr. Collins, with a scoff that was louder than his own grief. Yet, Clara steadied herself, propelled by a mother's fierce love. On the morning of her first test, she stood at the village well, the sun's rays breaking through the mist like divine light. "Fear not," rustled a gentle breeze, and she dared to pray aloud. "Lord, I trust in your plan." To her astonishment, a single, golden tear fell from her eye and splashed into the water, causing it to shimmer and glow as if blessed. Villagers paused, stunned by the sight. Whispers turned to awe, transforming skepticism into curiosity. Clara pressed on, despite the weight of despair clinging to her heart. Days passed, and the next barriers rushed at her like roiling storm clouds. A heartbreaking setback struck. Jamie slipped into deeper illness, and Clara was torn between despair's dark grasp and the glimmers of faith that faltered. Would surrendering mean giving up? Or would complete surrender to God's timing bring her peace? "Be still and trust," Clara insisted to herself, eyes fixed on the heavens. As she prayed, villagers began to unite in prayer, their hearts intertwining with hers like threads in a divine tapestry. The church transformed into a whirlpool of hope. A revival blossomed, moment by moment. Yet just as hope flourished, Jamie's condition spiraled, leading to a moment of agonizing tension. Clara stood at a crossroads, her heart a battleground of prayer and doubt. Would divine grace arrive on time? Or was the true miracle beyond her comprehension? Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. The villagers gathered on a crisp evening, breaths held, faces illuminated by candlelight. Clara knelt in prayer, her heart breaking yet hopeful, sensing that a breathless moment lay just ahead. Would healing flow from heaven, or was Clara's faith the miracle they had all been too blind to see? The atmosphere crackled with the weight of anticipation, and Clara realized the journey had only just begun. The night deepened, the stars brightly adorning the endless sky as Clara knelt in that sacred space, her heart a drum echoing faith. Each whisper of the wind felt like a guardian's love wrapping around her. "Lord, could you hear me?" she murmured, each plea an offering of her soul's tireless pursuit for healing. As if in response, a flicker of light danced around her, shimmering like gold dust, lifting her heart. The warmth from the flickering candles enveloped her, and with every prayer that she uttered, her spirit soared higher. She felt the collective hope of her village weaving around her prayers, a vibrant tapestry of faith shimmering under the moonlight. The flicker of uncertainty within her dimmed as she gazed upon familiar faces, friends and neighbors united in purpose. Together, they believed that miracles were not only possible, but forthcoming. "Clara, let's pray together," called out Miriam, an elderly woman with deep lines marking her joyful face. Her voice rose above the candlelight, stitching the hearts of many. Inspired, others joined hands, forming a circle of light, each person echoing Clara's desire for Jamie's recovery. The air vibrated with fervent prayers, an electric pulse connecting every soul present. "Lord, heal Jamie," they cried, their voices rising in unison, flooding the small church with divine energy. And yet, amid the chorus of prayers, Clara felt a weight. Doubts, like shadows, nudged at her heart, threatening to extinguish the flickering flame of her faith. What if this isn't enough? What if he doesn't make it? It was at that moment, a soft hand clasped hers, a reminder of the unwavering support around her. Clara turned to see Pastor Thomas, his eyes brimming with understanding. "Sometimes, faith comes not from the absence of doubt but from believing in spite of it," he whispered, lifting her chin. His presence felt like an anchor on turbulent waters, grounding her in the current of hope. His words ignited a realization. Clara shifted her gaze from the shadows, back to the warm glow that surrounded her. "I trust you, Lord," she declared, her voice now steady and daring. "Even when I cannot see the way." The villagers' responses swelled, their faith feeding on the flames of her conviction, and she could feel the power of their collective prayer, weaving around Jamie's fragile body, miles away. In that moment, a soft yet powerful tide washed over Clara. She closed her eyes, surrendering her worries to God, and realized something profound. Healing was not simply about Jamie's physical restoration. It was about the spirits intertwined in this battle, the community united in faith, and the unyielding belief that transcended earthly limitations. Sometime later, as the prayers faded into soft murmurs of gratitude, a flicker of hope sparked like a candle being lit anew. Before Clara could gather her thoughts, a gentle breeze swept through the open window, lifting her spirit and the air thick with anticipation. What tangible miracle awaited them just beyond the horizon? It was then that a sudden gasp invaded the air, an exhale of disbelief that rippled through the congregation. They turned, a single thought echoing in the hearts of each believer. Something extraordinary was unfolding. As Clara's heart raced like the wild winds outside, her spirit ached with impatience. What was God about to reveal? What lay on the other side of this divine threshold? The journey was far from over, and the heavens seemed to beckon her toward the next barrier of her sacred expedition. Clara inhaled deeply, her heart whispering for revelation, as the night thickened around them. A hush enveloped the church, a stillness that pulsed with electric expectation. Clara's heart thudded in her chest, each beat a call to the divine, an invitation for something miraculous to take form. The flickering candlelight grew almost blinding, illuminating the space with a sheen that felt almost sacred. Around her, faces turned, eyes wide, breath caught. Clara could see the question in their eyes, a collective longing. "What is happening?" they seemed to ask. In that moment, Clara felt a profound unity. They were more than just villagers. They were bearers of hope, guardians of faith. A wave of warmth washed over her, stoking the embers of her conviction. The breeze danced again, swirling the warm fragrance of candles mixed with the coolness of the night into a heavenly blend. It felt as though the very air was charged, filled with possibilities. Clara closed her eyes, centering herself amidst the gathering storm of emotions. Alone she was, but together, there was strength, immovable strength. "Look," a voice broke through the tension. A young girl named Anya pointed toward the altar, where Jamie had often prayed. Clara's gaze followed, and there they saw it, a soft, radiant light emerging from the shadows. It flickered brightly, glistening like a beacon in the night. Gasps rippled through the congregation as they leaned forward, drawn closer to the wonder unfolding. Clara's mind, rest a tangible presence of the divine, was before them. Is this a sign? She thought, scarcely daring to voice her hope. Pastor Thomas took a step forward, his faith unwavering. This is what we have prayed for, he proclaimed, his voice ringing bold and clear, instilling courage in the hearts that listened. Let us not shy away from the miracle God is revealing. Clara's heart soared, yet doubt still lingered at the edges of her mind. What if it's just a trick of the light? She wondered, but in that very moment, a gentle whisper floated through the air, wrapping around her like the arms of a loving friend. Trust, it seemed to say, believe. The light flickered higher, brighter, and Clara could feel the warmth radiating towards her, filling the church with a golden glow. It enveloped each person, breaking through their fears and doubts. They were no longer individuals holding flickering doubts, but a collective force of faith, tall and unbending like the mighty oaks in their village. Suddenly, a sweet melody began to fill the air, soft and profound, drawing everyone deeper into this divine experience. The sound was ethereal, whispering of hope and reassurance, as if heaven itself was playing a symphony of love just for them. Tears prickled in Clara's eyes. It was the music of miracles, flowing softly around them. Lord, reveal your glory, Clara cried, half in awe, half in desperation. A tremor of energy coursed through her, rattling her very bones with both excitement and trepidation. In that moment of surrender, her soul remembered, divine journey was unfolding, richer and more profound than she had anticipated. This was not only about Jamie. It was about her, about them, all of them, shedding their burdens and allowing their lives to be woven into a masterpiece that would reflect God's goodness. The church vibrated with prayers, hearts rising to meet the light spilling forth from the altar. They were reaching for a truth beyond mere understanding. Together in faith, something extraordinary was on the brink of realization, something that promised to change their lives forever. But just as Clara felt the weight of the moment settle upon them, it shifted again. A shadow crossed over the radiant light as uncertainty hung thick in the remaining air. What would follow this revelation? Was the miracle already in motion, or was it yet to come? As anticipation intensified, an unexpected whisper echoed through the crowd. Are we ready to receive? The pastor called out, each word igniting a challenge within. What did it truly mean to receive from God? The call lingered, sweet and urgent, leaving all to ponder what might be born from the incredible light before them. Would they embrace what lay ahead? Would they dare to open their hearts wide? What awaited in the dazzling unknown? What would it mean to walk through the doorway of faith, where the miracle was more than they ever dreamed? The congregation stirred, a ripple of anticipation sweeping through them. Clara could feel the collective heartbeat, the thrum of souls seeking something more profound than the everyday. Pastor Thomas's voice echoed in her mind, lingering like the fragrance of incense wafting upward. Are we ready to receive? What weight did that question carry? She opened her eyes, drawn back to the altar. The light pulsed and flickered, not just a beacon, but a living entity that seemed to beckon them to approach. What if, Clara thought, the light is not just a sign, but an invitation to something greater? Around her, eyes glistened with tears, faces lifted high in surrender. Anya, standing near, whispered, "What if it's him?" Clara understood. What if Jamie was part of this divine involvement? The thought exhilarated and terrified her. Suddenly, the music swelled, filling the church and weaving through each heart. It was no longer just a sound. It was a tapestry of voices rising in praise. Somewhere in the back, an elder began to hum, his deep voice grounding the ethereal melody, drawing more voices into the chorus. They became one, a unified offering to the heavens. The church transformed into a vessel of hope, with each note and prayer carried upward like smoke rising from a sacred fire. With each passing moment, Clara felt that heavy mantle of doubt start to peel away. This was bigger than fear, bigger than uncertainty. It was love pouring down, mingling with each prayer and every longing heart. "Clara?" A sudden voice broke through her communion, and she turned to see Brother Luke, his face illuminated in awe. "Look." He pointed toward the altar again. The light was shifting, swirling like a misty outline forming into something more defined. Clara's breath caught in her throat as she spotted the silhouette figure emerging, draped in that radiant glow, ethereal and otherworldly. The gasps from the congregation filled the church, an audible collective gasp of disbelief and joy. "Is this real?" she whispered. The atmosphere thickened with expectation, a tangible energy that charged every corner of the room. It was a divine mystery unfolding right before their eyes. In that frozen moment, Clara's heart leaped. Memories rushed in. Jamie's laughter, his kindness, the promise of his restless spirit. Was God revealing him, manifesting through this light? Not as a specter of loss, but as a reminder of divine connection, of resurrection woven with grace. "Lord, is it truly you?" Clara sealed her eyes, desperately seeking clarity amidst the chaos. The glow intensified, enveloping her mind, body, and spirit, urging her to let go of every doubt. As Pastor Thomas led the gathering in a chorus of prayers, a wave of peace washed over Clara. She could sense the worries lifting, each outstretched hand a channel of grace. "We believe in your power. We believe in your goodness," they shouted, even the smallest voices contributing to the mighty anthem. But amid the joy, Clara's heart tugged at the unexpected. In that glorious collective moment, doubt and hope danced like flickering candle flames, but what God had not yet revealed. She pondered as she sensed a shift, like a gentle breeze whispering through the stained glass windows. The light pulsated, responding to their prayers, yet it sought something deeper. It beckoned not just their voices, but their hearts. Would they be willing to surrender everything? Clara felt the stirring within her. A choice was presented, an opening to something divine. A question loomed larger than life. What happens when we let go and allow God to fill the void? What awaited those faithful hearts? Would they embrace the fullness of the divine promise, or would fear keep them from unlocking the wonders that lay ahead? The mystery deepened, the melody of anticipation resonated, leaving them hanging on the precipice of divine revelation. The flickering light at the altar shimmered like a star awakening in the dawn, its warmth wrapping around Clara and the congregation like a gentle embrace. A holy hush fell over the room, the kind that invites whispers of the divine to dance among the hearts gathered. Eyes were closed, yet spirits remained wide open, each one leaning into the sacred energy flowing through them. Clara's heartbeat synchronized with the soft pulse of luminescence. Every breath became a prayer, every heartbeat a testament of faith. In this moment, she felt the weight of 1,000 worries dissolve into nothingness. It was as if the light was cleansing not just her doubts, but the burdens of the entire congregation. "Draw near," a soft, resonant voice seemed to echo within her, though she could not tell whether it was her own thought or a whisper from the divine. Her heart surged with longing to understand this connection, this sacred invitation. The silhouette on the altar appeared to sway gently, inviting them closer, ushering them into an encounter with the holy. A shift in the air drew Clara's gaze. Her friend Anya, still at her side, raised her arms, surrendering fully. The light augmented, glistening with an intensity that was almost blinding, yet soothing. Around them, others began to respond, voices lifting higher in praise, melodies intertwining like ribbons on a gentle breeze. "Let it wash over you," Anya breathed, her eyes still fixed on the altar. Clara nodded, feeling the collective yearning as they all reached for a deeper truth, for a sign that transcended earthly boundaries. Then they began to sing, voices piercing through the stillness. The notes soared, merging into a single lifeline to the heavens. "Holy Spirit, come. Heal our wounds, revive our hearts." Each word resonated like a heartbeat, like the pulse of creation echoing through the church. Clara could feel the love filling every crevice of her soul, igniting a fire that had long lain dormant. Yet, even in that joyous surrender, doubt began to nibble at the edges of her heart. What if this is just a moment? Just an illusion? She cautioned herself quietly. but the sacred light shone brighter, as if dismissing her fears, urging her toward a divine unveiling. At that moment, the figure at the altar raised an arm, and the light exploded, a cascade of colors filling the space. Blues, reds, golds streamed throughout the sanctuary, wrapping around the congregation, uniting them in an embrace of revelation. Clara's breath hitched as she felt the transformative energy wash over her like waves on a shore, taking with it every trace of uncertainty. "Open up," came a call from Pastor Thomas, his voice ringing with authority and tenderness. "Open up your hearts. Let him enter." Clara surrendered even further, letting the warmth seep deeper into her being. Around her, people began to weep. Some clutched their chests, while others simply laughed in pure joy, lost in the ecstatic presence that surrounded them. A ripple of joy washed over the congregation, the weight of despair crumbling under the radiance of hope. Just as Clara thought she could grasp the fullness of this divine moment, she felt a stirring again, a reminder that this wasn't the end, it was merely the beginning. A promise lingered in the air. What if this is just the first step toward something greater? The music soared, and the congregation leaned into the light, each moment thick with sanctity, yet filled with questions that hung like ripe fruit, waiting to be plucked. Would they dare to venture further? What awaits at the heights of surrender? Clara wondered. The invitation glimmered before her, a call to explore the depths of faith, a beckoning to unearth the hidden miracles that lie just beyond the reach of their fears. Each heartbeat echoed the mystery yet to unfold, draping them in uncharted possibilities. Suddenly, a soft breeze filled the sanctuary, whispering secrets of divine love. Clara felt it tousled her hair. It was as if the very Spirit of God was moving among them. She opened her eyes and surveyed the room, taking in the radiant faces of her fellow worshippers. Each one shone with a light of their own, reflecting the glory that enveloped them. Tears streamed down some cheeks, while others grinned widely, mouths open in exclamation, exuding pure joy. "Can you feel it?" Anya looked at Clara, her eyes wide with wonder. Clara simply nodded, for words seemed inadequate in that sacred moment. Each heartbeat resonated with the pulse of a greater reality, a chorus that united them all in this extraordinary experience. The music swelled once more, calling them deeper into the mysteries and beauty of the moment. Clara felt herself being beckoned into the light, a warmth growing within that urged her to trust in this divine embrace. What if my hesitations fade away? She thought, daring to imagine the freedom that lay beyond. "I can see it," Anya exclaimed, her voice breaking through Clara's thoughts. "I can see the visions God has for us." She pointed towards the light that now shimmered within the intricate shadows cast around the sanctuary. Gradually, the colors began to take shape, forming radiant images that danced in and out of focus. Clara leaned closer, squinting to catch a better glimpse. Figures emerged within the brilliant display. Some were comforting and familiar, others utterly unknown, breaking apart the very fabric of the world they thought they knew. She felt the shockwave of unexplainable joy as understanding flourished in her spirit, weaving an intricate tapestry of connection between the past, present, and future. "Trust in what you see," Pastor Thomas urged. His command resonated through the space, each word a stepping stone into an unseen realm. "Your faith will illuminate the path ahead." Tears fell freely down Clara's cheeks, now overwhelmed by the sheer beauty of it all. She felt her spirit lift, like a kite soaring high above the clouds. Each vision revealed the potential lying dormant inside not just hers, but for the entire congregation. They were called to greater things, to carry the flame of that light beyond these walls. Yet still, somewhere within, the tiny voice of doubt flickered like a dying ember. What if we cannot face the challenges that await? The thought was like a cold breeze in the midst of warm sunlight, casting a shadow over her blossoming faith. And there it was, the moment of clarity. A word dropped like a seed into her heart: courage. Clara closed her eyes again, taking a deep, grounding breath. "I can do this," she whispered to herself, her heart beating a steadier rhythm. "We can do this together." Looks of determination spread through those gathered. Clara turned her attention back to the altar, willing to embrace whatever the spirit sought to unveil. Suddenly, she felt a pull, a powerful tug in her spirit, urging her to take a step forward. What is the first step? She pondered, a childlike curiosity igniting within her. The light's brilliance called her, enveloping her in a gentle whirlwind. What revelation awaited those who dared to cross the threshold? As they stepped closer, Clara sensed an impending shift, the air thick with anticipation, her soul alive with eagerness. Are we ready to unlock the mysteries of faith together? She wondered. The answer felt imminent, a pulse reverberating through her very being. What doors could be opened if they dared to press forward? What miracles awaited just beyond the veil? The air shimmered, electric with possibility. Clara felt as if every breath drawn was a prayer, infused with life and intention. What awaits us if we move forward, she thought. The entire congregation seemed to breathe with her, synchronized in this sacred moment of shared purpose. Pastor Thomas raised his hands wide, inviting them into deeper faith. God's plans are unfurling before us. Are we willing to seek His face, step into His promise? His words echoed, an invitation resonating in Clara's heart. With the sanctuary bathed in the soft glow of flickering candles, Clara opened her eyes. She swept her gaze over the individuals before her, each one an embodiment of love, vulnerability, and strength. She noticed Anya's trembling hands, clasped tight as if holding on to hope itself. Across the room, Thomas bowed his head, whispering into the atmosphere prayers of protection and guidance. This act of unity filled her with warmth and belonging. "I can hear it," Clara exclaimed suddenly, her voice breaking the sacred silence. "I can hear the whisper of our hearts yearning to be free." The crowd stirred, curiosity mingling with excitement. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the congregation, encouragement sparking like fireflies dancing in the dark. The music shifted, filling their spirits with a melody that transcended time and space. It wound through their hearts, solidifying the thread of connection binding them together. Clara felt the presence of something ancient and yet fresh, a melody of creation itself, vibrating through her very being. What if this is the moment of transformation? The thought seized her. What if today marks the beginning of something miraculous? With that thought, her feet moved, almost of their own accord. Clara stepped forward into the light, drawn by the divine invitation pulsing around her. Her heart raced, but a calm confidence mingled within as she took that first stride. Her companions following closely behind her, emboldened by her faith. The atmosphere thickened, charged with divine anticipation. She could sense their collective yearning, a hunger for the divine presence to sweep through their lives, to rejuvenate their spirits. As they drew nearer to the altar, Clara caught glimpses of shimmering visions, kaleidoscopic dreams of transformation unfolding before her eyes. Each image was a promise, whispering truths of healing and unity. A hush fell over the group as they approached the altar's sacred threshold. The congregation stood still, hearts pounding like drums of destiny. Pastor Thomas lowered his voice to a soothing tone. "Close your eyes. Open your hearts. Receive the blessings that flow from this moment." Clara felt a wave of warmth wash over her as she surrendered her fears to God. Each of her worries fell away, absorbed into the radiant atmosphere, like morning mist dispersing beneath the sun's embrace. Her spirit soared, drinking deeply from the well of hope surrounding her. Courage, Clara, she reminded herself, embracing the weightlessness of faith, spurred on by trust in the unfathomable goodness. Suddenly, a burst of brilliance erupted within the altar, filling the space with a white, holy light. The flickering candles became beacons of hope, illuminating not only their faces, but their futures too. Clara gasped, as she witnessed visions of families restored, communities thriving, and hearts mending. What could bolt into existence from this place? Her heart mused. In that electrifying moment, doubt faded, replaced with fierce hope and unwavering expectation. In every face around her, she saw a glimmer of shared determination, a collective heart yearning for transformation. Together, we will answer the call. Together, we'll witness miracles unfold. They took a collective breath, exhaling a prayer that filled the air with a tangible energy. Clara knew they were on the brink of something inspiring. What barriers would break? What chains would shatter? As the light pulsed once more, they felt the stirring of a new possibility lighting within. Are we ready to transform the very fabric of our lives? Pastor Thomas called. Perhaps each soul present had a role in the grand design yet to be unveiled. How would they answer that call? What awaits just beyond the threshold of their faith? The light surrounding the altar flickered playfully, drawing eyes upward as if beckoning each heart to lift and aspire for more than their reality. Clara could feel the pulse of an unspoken prayer, a promise that whispered secrets of what could be. She stepped deeper into the radiant glow, her spirit ignited with a newfound fervor that coursed through her veins like a holy fire. Breathe in the promise, Pastor Thomas urged, his voice a gentle, guiding light in the dense atmosphere. The congregation inhaled collectively, filling their lungs not just with air but with belief. It was a gathering of souls ready to embrace the unknown, ready to embrace the divine miracle in the making. Clara felt grounded in the moment, yet her heart raced. She could almost taste the sweetness of faith lingering in the air, swirling around them and encouraging each person to step out of their shadows. It wasn't just about witnessing miracles. It was about becoming a miracle. Anya moved beside her, a soft flutter in her chest. There was uncertainty etched in the corners of her eyes, but as their gazes met, troubled thoughts began to shed like fall leaves. What if this place really is special? What if we can truly become vessels of His light? Anya whispered, her voice trembling with hope. Clara nodded slowly, recognizing that doubt was simply a stepping stone to deeper belief. She reached out, intertwining her fingers with Anya's. Together, we are stronger. We can ignite the flame of healing, together. As bold music swelled again, like a river overflowing its banks, the altar became an epicenter of possibilities. Clara could feel an urgency in the air, stirring the hearts of those present. Waves of anticipation rolled over them, a divine energy urging them to claim their place in the unfolding story. Suddenly, a soft wind whipped through the sanctuary, swirling around Clara and her companions, lifting hair and spirits alike. It was both gentle and fierce, a tangible reminder that they were not alone. She half expected to hear the whisper of angels echoing through the air, compelling them onward. What's happening? Someone gasped, their voice filled with wonder and awe. It was a question Clara felt resonating in her own heart. What could unfold in this moment? A moment where fear kissed the goodbye of faith. Beloved, this is the moment we've been waiting for. Pastor Thomas proclaimed, his outstretched arms, inviting them into new dimensions of hope. Can you feel it? The shift, the wave. God is here with us. As the congregation united in fervent prayer, Clara soaked it all in, the voices harmonizing, the hearts beating as one, their unified desire echoing against the walls of the sanctuary. There was beauty in surrender, a rich tapestry woven from their shared vulnerability. Tears glistened in the eyes of many, but rather than sorrow, they were tears of release. Transformation was at the door, and Clara was certain that within this sacred space, chains were being loosed, burdens were lifted, and visions were being birthed. She held on to Anya's hand tightly, her heart aligning with the rising crescendo of faith. As they pressed forward, Clara could feel the weight of expectancy building in the air. But even amid this electrifying atmosphere, she sensed that they were being called to something deeper, something beyond the physical manifestations of what they'd hoped for. Are we ready to step boldly into the unfamiliar? Pastor Thomas's voice rang clear and firm. Let each of us say yes to the great unknown. What awaited them beyond this electric threshold? Clara's heart raced with each exhilarating possibility. Would they embrace the challenge? Would they let the unfolding journey take them to places beyond their imagination? As the music soared, Lifting their voices in a heavenly chorus, Clara closed her eyes, envisioning all that could be, daring to believe in the impossibility of their lives transforming in real time. When she opened them again, a bright wave of glory washed across the sanctuary, illuminating every corner, inviting each heart to step out of its comfort zone. Yet, in that radiant moment, one question hung heavy in the era's sacred expanse, waiting to be engaged. Will we, together, summon the courage to believe that great things await us just beyond our wildest dreams? The atmosphere swelled, pregnant with expectation. Clara stood at the heart of the gathering, her spirit soaring, as a beautiful tension built around her. It was as if the air itself pulsed with rhythm, the collective heartbeat of faith echoing in unison. Her eyes met Anya's, filled with a radiant glow, each reflecting the flicker of possibility that danced in the light. Can you sense it? Anya's voice was soft, almost reverent. It feels like something is about to break through. Yes, Clara breathed, her heart racing as flashes of insight filled her mind, a stream of visions that seemed to cascade like sparkling water down a mountainside. We're on the verge of something miraculous. Pastor Thomas beckoned them closer to the altar, his arms welcoming them into the sacred space, a cocoon of divine energy enveloping everyone present. His eyes twinkled with light as he declared, "Faith is a declaration to the heavens. We stand at the cusp of creation. Will you breathe life into your dreams?" Every voice joined in chorus, a breathtaking symphony of desires and aspirations reverberating off the walls. It was a choir of souls yearning for change, for healing, for freedom. Each plea rose as incense, sweet and fragrant, reaching a loving God who cherished their hopes. Clara felt a tingling sensation across her skin, a shift in the air around her like a divine invitation. The sheer intensity of love and hope moved through the congregation. We are cornerstones of miracles, she thought, feeling the truth settle deep within her. Just then, a hush fell over the room, a stillness that marinated in the vibrancy of faith. Eyes turned upward, and there above them, the light seemed to pulse more vividly, radiant manifestation of grace shimmering like golden threads spun from heaven's loom. In this moment, Pastor Thomas continued, God is pouring out his Spirit. We are not just spectators. We are participants in the divine narrative. Open your hearts to receive. As the words flowed, Clara felt a warm glow envelop her, as if she were being wrapped in a divine embrace. She could sense a shift. It was more than just hope. It was a certainty. Anya squeezed her hand, and together they stepped forward, ready to claim their place in this unfolding story. The gold light seemed to weave around them, cradling them, touching their souls like a mother's gentle hand. Let's declare our faith, Clara called out, her voice ringing clear. With heartbeats sinking, they cried out together, not just for their own lives, but for each other. It was a lifting of burdens, an uplifting communion. We believe. The ground trembled with energy, and suddenly, a wave of joy broke forth. Laughter bubbled, tears flowed down cheeks, and within that sacred space, the miraculous threads of healing weaved together. Chains were shattering, illuminating revelations ignited, and Clara knew love was consuming fear whole. In that beautiful chaos, doubt dissolved, and faith became a tangible force. Clara could hardly contain herself. She felt lighter, freer. What awaits us now? She pondered. A glimmer of something beautiful awaited just around the bend, yet she couldn't fully grasp it. As the music swelled again, there was an undeniable call to surrender. Clara closed her eyes, letting the sound wash over her, ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. But amidst the joy, a question echoed deep within her heart. What if glory unfolds in shapes we've never imagined? The congregation roared in agreement, confidence buoyed by unity, leaving Clara tingling with anticipation of what God would do next. In that sacred space, hope transformed into wonder, leaving her breathless with expectation. The air grew thick with expectation, the congregation holding its collective breath as Clara stepped closer to the radiance beckoning from the altar. The magnificent light unfurled like a gift, inviting her and her fellow believers into the embrace of the divine. In the quiet murmurs of their hearts, they felt the urgency of a covenant renewed, a promise not only of healing but of transformation etched in every soul present. Clara felt powerful energies shiver through her, as if the very fabric of her being was woven into the tapestry of prayer surrounding her. "This is it, Lord," she whispered, her faith igniting like the first light of dawn. "I am ready to receive." The room pulsed like a drum, each beat echoing the gathered hopes and dreams. Pastor Thomas's voice rang out with authority and love. "Are we ready to step into our divine destiny? The time is now." "Yes," the crowd roared, voices intertwined in harmony, a thrumming symphony calling to the heavens. Clara's heart raced. Her fears melted away, replaced by an undeniable conviction that God was moving. The light at the altar flickered, swirling and majestic, a dance of divinity illuminating the path ahead. Then it happened, a sound, a chorus of joy, where laughter resonated like bells ringing through the sanctuary. Clara turned, awestruck, witnessing Jamie's figure emerging in the glow, along with the whispers of the past. It was as if every moment lost was breathed back into being, the light dancing around him like tendrils of grace. "Jamie," Clara gasped, tears cascading down her cheeks, each drop a prayer of gratitude. "Is it really you?" "Yes, Mom," he whispered, his voice familiar and warm. "I'm here. I'm healed." The words floated on the air, wrapping around the congregation, grounding them in a miracle they had fervently prayed for. "Lord, thank you," Clara cried out, her heart swelling with an indescribable joy. The villagers erupted in applause, a wave of collective faith igniting the room. Clara could feel the warmth of their love unfurling, knitting them closer together in a testament to unwavering hope. In that moment of miracle, the pastor turned to the congregation. "This is how God works. In our surrender, He shows His majesty. We are a family brought together in faith, ready to share our stories, our triumphs." Clara looked around, absorbing the faces of those whose hearts had intertwined with her own. The elders, the young, all were caught in a vibrant moment of divine connection. "Look what we've become together," she thought. "We are vessels of His love." The air shimmered again, and the music swelled, a celestial orchestra guiding them further. "Let's declare our faith, our trust," Pastor Thomas urged, lifting his arms as if drawing their spirits upward. "In unity, we are unstoppable." As they raised their voices in unison, Clara felt an electrifying presence. Each note released a stream of wonders, stories woven like threads connecting each soul into a single divine tapestry. "Each of us holds a piece of this miracle," she thought, feeling the deep love radiating around her. One by one, villagers began to share their testimonies of transformation, each story lifting higher into the atmosphere. Clara listened, tears of joy streaming down her face, as they recounted how the journey had reclaimed hope, where despair once lingered, how their hearts had been restored, the light reignited within, and then the Spirit moved her. Clara took her place at the forefront. "This is just the beginning," she proclaimed, her voice steady and clear. "We've unlocked the first of many miracles. Together, let us go forth, sharing our light, being vessels of this love." The congregation erupted into joyous affirmation, their spirits soaring, hearts thumping in shared purpose. Clara felt an overwhelming sense of peace, knowing they had stepped through the threshold of doubt into a realm where anything was possible. As they rejoiced, Clara understood. It was more than healing. It was a divine reckoning, a gathering forged in faith. This wasn't just Jamie's miracle, it was theirs. They were a family, a community, transformed by the light they upheld together. In the heart of the church, Clara turned back to the altar, her spirit aglow. "Thank you, Lord," she breathed, gratitude resonating deep within. "For every barrier broken, every heart mended. This is your promise fulfilled." The light at the altar pulsed one last time, shimmering brightly, a divine benediction washing over them all, as if the heavens had opened wide. Clara beamed at Jamie once more, her heart settled in profound joy. They had discovered the true power of faith. It was not simply a belief, but a bond woven rich in hope and love. The journey may have tested her heart, but in that sacred space, she knew they had unlocked a strength greater than themselves, one that would resonate far beyond those church walls. The light followed them as they walked into the world, ready to shine brighter than the stars, igniting a legacy that would inspire countless others. Clara's healing became a celebration of love, intertwining all their lives, anchoring them in divine truth, promising that miracles were just the beginning. Now, this is the moment. If you felt the intensity of this transformation, you need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss out on the next exclusive faith stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help spread this message of hope. Comment your reactions and testimonies about this ending. Let us know how it touched your heart. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation of God's love. Together, we can light the way for so many.